Okay, 8th graders, you thought I was kidding when I said I was going to go home and start filming vocab lessons, but here I am at 9:11 p.m. Recording your first lesson. I did it once already, but it was too long, so it went upload. Well, I changed that, I hope, and I'll shorten the lesson. Our first word, if you're on page 3, is accentuate. It's a verb. The base word is accent, and if you think about what accent means, that means to emphasize, right? To add some sort of emphasis, and that's what accentuate means. You want to accentuate a point. You might do something by elevating your voice or making some hand motions that might emphasize your point if you want to accentuate it. All right? Our second word is ambiguous. Ambiguous, the OUS ending makes it an adjective every time. Ambiguous, and I'm hoping none of these vocab lessons will be ambiguous, because ambiguous means unclear, vague, really can't understand what I'm talking about. Politicians rather, try not to be ambiguous when stating their views, but oftentimes they end up being just that, unclear and very ambiguous. So a lot of the words have to do, in this lesson, have to do with language, either spoken or written language, so I'll make reference to that. Comprehensive is an adjective. Comprehensive means including everything. At Bethlehem, you get a comprehensive education. We try to give you everything, basically. You get computer, you get art, you get PE, you get Spanish, you get not just the 3 R's, you get a comprehensive education. Now, last year we took a comprehensive look at the play Macbeth. Now I reference that because I'm going to make reference to it again for another word down the list here. But we took a comprehensive look at the play in that we studied the history of the stage, we studied about Shakespeare, we studied about Macbeth's history, we studied about Scotland. We looked at everything having to do with the play, even the reason why it was written. Okay. Our fourth word is felicitous. What did I say about the OUS ending? Adjective, you bet. Now, for those ladies who have perhaps read the American Girls series, Felicity is one of the characters. And Felicity is the noun form of felicitous. Well, that's one. Her name means cheerful, pleasant, and that's one of the meanings. Felicitous can also mean appropriate, pleasant, but appropriate for the day. If the weather is felicitous, it means it is cooperating with us. I'm hoping that the weather will be felicitous when we are at the retreat, so that there's no rain like there was last year, so everybody can do the high ropes or whatever they want to do, rock climbing or whatever. Okay, so felicitous, adjective. Intricacy, that's our fifth word, and that's a noun. Intricate is the adjective form. In issues today, sometimes there are problems that have many little intricacies that make the problem even more complex. There are, as you start reading To Kill a Mockingbird, there are little intricacies within the book, little details that add to the complexity that these children face in growing up, in dealing with a rather horrible situation and injustice in their town. And so a lot of complexities, intricacies that make the conflict in this story even more powerful. All right, that's what intricacy is. A little extra detail or complexity that makes the problem or the situation a little more challenging. If you have a math problem that has a lot of intricacies, you maybe have to go through a few more steps to solve it. Okay. I saw a funny cartoon on, I don't know where I saw it, but it said, "Dear Math, I'm not a therapist. Solve your own problems." And boy, wouldn't I like to say that to math sometimes. Number 6, introspective. It's an adjective. Introspective, think of the prefix intro. If you are an introvert, that means you're very much in, you keep your emotions inside, you think and ponder your emotions before laying them out for everyone. You do not wear your emotions on your sleeve. You're not an extrovert. If you're introspective, you think things through before speaking about them. Okay? I'm not so much introspective because sometimes saying things, talking about them helps me think about them, helps me resolve them. Some people work better by thinking about it, in pondering it, really analyzing their emotions, and then speaking. So introspective, contemplate, looking a little bit inside first. Very, can be kind of the opposite of our next word number 7, provocative. Provocative is also an adjective. The verb form of provocative is provoke. Provoke means you try to incite or stimulate somebody into action. Okay, something said or some action may provoke a person into saying something or doing something. It could be positive or negative. Provoke usually is used as a negative connotative word. So provocative means that something is stimulating or inciting a reaction from somebody else. All right. If somebody gives a provocative speech, then people are stimulated into action, or their emotions are stimulated, or something like that. They are incited into action or feeling. Sometimes where you hear the word provocative is the way people are, especially women on, movie stars, the way they may dress. They may dress in a provocative way, dress to gain attention. All right, that would be a provocative manner of dress. Our next word, rhetorical. This is one that has to do with communication, whereas ambiguous had to do with speech and lack of effective speech or clarity. Rhetorical has to do with impressive speech. Actually, rhetorical has to do mainly with the written communication, with writing. In language, we'll study rhetoric and how people write things that are impressive. Now, rhetorical has changed in meaning a little bit. Sometimes it can mean, a kind of showy language, speaking all hoity-toity, or writing in a way that sounds lofty and kind of metaphorically highly intelligent, somebody who can only understand 10-syllable words or whatever. So sometimes it can be used in a negative way. I bet you have heard the term rhetorical with regards to questions. Somebody may have said, this question is a rhetorical question. Well, that means that the information before it was so impressive, was so clear, that the question, you don't even need to answer it because the answer is obvious. A rhetorical question means the answer is obvious. You don't need to answer because the rest has been effectively communicated. Okay? I'm going to drink my tea because otherwise you might think it's my evil twin. And, Miss Holbeck is always drinking coffee or tea. Our ninth word, usurp. Now, remember I mentioned Macbeth when the word comprehensive, we took a comprehensive look. Usurp was one of the terms that I introduced you to when we studied Macbeth, when we took that comprehensive look at Macbeth, because Macbeth usurped the Scottish throne. He took something in a violent way that didn't belong to him. He butted in line in a violent manner. So Duncan was on our hierarchy, remember? And then Malcolm and Donald Vane, and then Macbeth. But Macbeth usurped the throne. He killed Duncan. So he took that position in a violent way. That's what usurp means. It's a verb. And that made Macbeth a usurper. Okay? Our last word is vernacular. Vernacular is a noun or an adjective, same spelling. And vernacular is kind of the opposite of rhetorical. The negative meaning of rhetorical can mean very showy and very flowery language. Vernacular is just very basic, common language. Whatever you normally say, how you normally speak, that's your vernacular. Okay? Now, you probably have a different vernacular than what I have, just because of our age difference. That makes sense. Okay? So vernacular, just informal language. Okay? Not showy, not flowery, just normal. Okay? You might use vernacular in your everyday speaking, but when you write, you should probably err on the side of rhetorical. And sometimes we end up writing as we speak, and we fall into some pitfalls there. So we'll work on that. Anyway, if you would turn to page 126, and I'll turn there, and I'll help you through the analogies. You get out your cheat sheet back to help you as well. 126, here we are. Okay. The first one, allegory and story, both of those words are nouns. All right. Now, allegory is a word that we'll talk about in lesson 2, so you may want to watch that before you answer this one. Number 2, comprehensive is an adjective. Limited is an adjective. Now remember, comprehensive as opposed to limited. Okay. Number 3, felicitous is an adjective. Appropriate is an adjective. Number 4, ferocious is an adjective. Lion is a noun. Number 5, incongruous is an adjective. Harmonious is an adjective. You may want to hop back to your math knowledge. Congruent and incongruent. Alright, that might help you. Number 6, intricacy is a noun. Complexity is a noun. Number 7, introspective is an adjective. Self-analysis is a noun. Adjective, noun, adjective, doesn't matter. It can only be one. Number 8, prologue is a noun. Play is a noun. Let me help you out with this. You can get this. When we read Henry V, Henry V has a prologue at the beginning of the play, but it's part of the play. Okay? And at the end, it has an epilogue. So it has a prologue and an epilogue. Okay. Number 9, protagonist is a noun. Character is a noun. Now, go back to your short story knowledge or notes. Number 10, provocative is an adjective. Stimulating is an adjective. Okay. Please send me any posts for questions, immediate questions that come up. Otherwise, we'll see you in class. It was good to see all of you at back to school night. Looking forward to this year. All right? Talk to you soon. Bye now.